5 years ago, I needed my pulmonary valve replaced, which required open heart surgery. In the last couple of months, I've learned that that valve is no longer working properly. And with the Four Nations break coming up, I could have the procedure done, recover, and be ready to go full steam. When it's something like your health, yes, you have to take care of that. You might have to step away to some extent.
Kyle Davidson is in his fourth year as the Blackhawks general manager. In that time, a lot has changed in his personal life. With two young children, Kyle is balancing his job with responsibilities at home.
Willa, is that your sister? Oh, she's so cute.
Making food, eh?
Are we gonna boil some water?
What's Mommy doing? To be able to experience these things with our family and with our daughters, it's a lot of times I'm watching on FaceTime or, through security cameras if I'm on the road to kind of check in and see what they're up to. And so it's much nicer to do it in person and be able to be part of it to some extent rather than a spectator. You see them saying things, you see them doing things that you're much more aware of what you're missing. You hang up the phone and there is that extra pit in your stomach.
It's all about Daddy, and Daddy's the fun one. Daddy's funny all the time. Daddy funny.
Mom's dust in the wind.
Mom's just pours my milk and here you go. Here you go. Nice. Now we're getting to it.
Here's the real life right now. She takes care of everything in our personal lives so I can do this really busy job. And so, having that foundation and that support, without that, I don't think you can fully focus on your health, your job, everything that, is going on in my and our lives.
When he had his first surgery, he's like, oh, by the way, I've got this heart condition, not a big deal. Like, oh, okay, but you're getting followed up on by a cardiologist. He's like, no. Like, why's that? I suggested, you should probably go get seen by a cardiologist. And he was like, yeah, okay, you're right. And so he did. And then that's when we found out, hey, you need to have open heart surgery.
I was born with tetralogy of Fallot. It's a congenital heart defect. I needed 2 open heart surgeries right around when I was a year old. 5 years ago, in 2019, I needed my pulmonary valve replaced, which required open heart surgery. And then recently, in the last couple of months, I've learned that that valve is no longer working properly again, and intervention was needed. And so now we're about a week away from a more non-invasive option, thankfully, to replace that pulmonary valve once again.
Even though he didn't have this job title in 2019, to be able to take that amount of time off was incredible. And now, thankfully, he can have a less invasive approach. And I think what's meant so much to us and to me is that we've never even had to think about that part of what's going to happen with your job. And he's built such wonderful people around him that, I know that he feels confident that everything's going to be taken care of. Because honestly, I don't think he has a ton of time, really, to sit down and think about his health issues when he has so much other stuff going on around. He's got a young team, a young family. It's always something that I'm worried about in the back of my mind. Obviously his health's, it's never going to be 100%.
My support staff, in the front office and hockey operations have all been very aware of what I've been going through, and you know, it hasn't necessarily dialed back my level of work or ability to execute the job. That's all there, but you know, it's something that I have to be mindful of, and it's something that I think is important for them to be mindful of, that this is something that's very real. Knowing that the organization has your back, both on a day-to-day work standpoint, but also just from a support and family angle is very special to myself, to my family, and it reinforces that this is just a really special place to work.
Good job.
Come here.
Go with Daddy. Go with Daddy.
Heading into the Four Nations break, Kyle prepares for his upcoming surgery while still maintaining his focus on the future of the Blackhawks. Developing that future is a task shared by multiple coaches and staff members. Assistant coach Kevin Dean and director of skill development Brian Kane work daily with the team in Chicago, and today they're joined by second overall pick Artyom Levshunov.
Yeah, it's on the tape, Artie. That's how I pass. Everything's on the tape. What year are you born? That's my last bad pass was in 06. How's it down there? How's it going down there? It's a hard league, man. It's a good league.
It's harder than here, I think.
It is, 100%.
Artie's had, you know, a really positive year in Rockford this year. He's shown some great strides developmentally, and so we really like where he's headed. He missed all of training camp and didn't get any time with the NHL team, either in the big group in training camp or early on in the regular season. All these other young players that came to camp and were able to participate got a lot of good experience with the NHL pace and NHL practices. He didn't experience that, and so during the AHL All-Star break, we have the opportunity to allow him to come up, and he's earned the opportunity to be involved in these practices, see what NHL pace looks like, practice with the NHL group, get a little bit of a peek into what is required at the NHL level, and then he'll join back up with Rockford after their break and continue the positive progress he's seen.
Artie, listen, everything you do it hard. You get that puck, shoot it hard. No, you're casual. Shoot it hard, all right?
He said do it.
Shoot it hard. They're pros. They'll get out of the way or they'll tip it, right? Don't worry about them.
Artyom and the coaches take advantage of their short time together, putting in extra work before and after practice.
Here you go, Artie. Grab it and skate. Two hands. Two hands.
Artie, you ready? Let's do it. Good. One more.
There's a time and place for it, but I don't love defensemen grabbing the puck in the neutral zone and skating backwards. Get around it and go. You know what I mean? You're a big guy that can skate, get around it and go. You'll be a load handling through the neutral zone. Like I said, then now you're got a forehand option over there. You got options over here, but you're skating full speed, right?
Ready, go. Good.
Better.
Way better. That was your fastest one. 7 was your high, 6.7. Excuse me, 7 was your high before that round. That's great. Way to push yourself.
For me, nowadays, like defensemen, just play with pace. Grab those pucks, don't drift back, get it and go. Turn it up ice and go. Pass it and jump. You know what I mean? Sometimes you'll pass it right over there, it'll just go right through the middle full speed. Next thing you know, it'll be at the net, right?
Hi. Hi. Good girl. Oh, there's a smile. Hi.
A little bit of nerves going in for surgery. It's a little bit of the unknown. It's, you know, one that I'm sure is routine for these doctors, but you know, it's, you know, I guess it's always something you're just like wondering how it's going to go. It's obviously great to have Angelica here and you know, kind of talk through things. She's been through this before with me. Knowing they're here and there's always stuff going on is a nice distraction as well. I scheduled the surgery at this time because of the break, you know, but the phone always rings. That always happens, and you know, I might not be able to answer anything this morning or maybe this afternoon. We'll kind of see how today goes, but I should bounce back in short order and be able to jump right back into things. I'm not sure how that's going to look, but there shouldn't be much of a delay there. And my mind's always going back to the job and hockey and what we can do to help the Blackhawks. So, I'm sure once I'm out of surgery and laying in that hospital bed, my brain will jump right back over to work.
The valve itself is FDA approved. It's an excellent valve. 80% of people get 10 years, 50% get 15 years. Mm-hmm. Just out of what the product is made out of.
Okay.
So you might say, what am I going to get? Is very individual.
Mm-hmm.
We would have expected you to have a longer duration for your valve stop, but yours broke down a little bit earlier.
Yep.
It's okay.
The blood is flowing in both directions when it should probably just flow in one. Again, that's my very non-medical explanation, but it's basically not holding and the blood's not flowing through it properly is probably the easiest way to explain it.
What we'll start with is actually inside your body, we'll put a small echo probe right underneath the valve, looking directly at the valve.
Okay.
We'll be able to see if the leak is purely inside or if there's anything external.
Okay.
That'll determine our use of this.
Yep.
So
Perfect. In the end, there were basically two avenues I could go down. I could go down the road of the more non-invasive procedure, which is a transcatheter replacement, where they place a new valve inside the existing valve that I got placed in there 5 years ago, or they could go in and do another open heart surgery and fully replace the valve, put a whole new one in.
yes.
With all things being equal and having the two options on the table, I certainly preferred and was happy that the transcatheter approach was something that was applicable to my case.
Kyle gets a few days of well-deserved rest, but down in Rockford, the season is still in full swing. The AHL is often the first taste of professional hockey for young players, an opportunity to learn and prove they're ready for the next level. For the organization, developmental success here is crucial.
It's a lot different from juniors. You're more on your own and you have your own place. You're kind of more, you have to get your own food. You don't get a billet family. So I think it's good for me. I think I matured a lot from that point.
I think here, like your mistakes aren't magnified. I guess like up top, you make a mistake and the whole world can kind of see, which you gotta live with. But at the end of the day, here, if you make a mistake, it's not knocking me back to the net as much. And at the same time, you gotta learn how to live with how you play, and whether you make a mistake or make a right play, just kind of keep it even keel and go with the next shift and play your brand of hockey.
It's a good hockey league here, and there's a lot of good players. And I think it really brings your best game if you keep playing with your teammate and yourself how you want to play and establish your role, really focus on who you are and how you play here, and then trying to bring that to the next level.
Also adjusting to a new opportunity is Assistant General Manager of Player Development, Mark Eaton, who has stepped in as the Ice Hogs interim head coach.
It's been quite an adjustment, but the staff here, Klink, Mac, Smitty, Will have been fantastic. I've leaned on them a lot. Having never coached, you have certain ideas of coaching. Never thought it was easy, and it certainly isn't, but it's been eye-opening. It's been a real learning experience for me, viewing things in a different perspective, and I think long-term is really going to help me out in the hockey world.
It just doesn't go in, like as soon as the guy gets rid of the puck, now we're breaking out, right? Then he chipper right
well,
there.
Artie started to come over, and then he kind of rerouted.
Right.
Kind of before the dump, he started to cheat a little bit.
So are we just good with his position here then? Just make sure we're
initially
connected?
not there. I think he's got to be over more. He's got to, because if this puck gets slipped through, he's got to be able to arrive.
Like I think, he's coming here, right? And then he comes back.
The key for me here is that if this slip play is made, Artie has to meet the puck
100%.
at the
Yeah.
stick, right?
And
So we
once you start a squeeze, like the wide
can't give
doesn't
the space.
doesn't matter anymore. You can't be aware of
We
the
want to
wide.
make them make 2 good plays through us if they're going to have something, right? We don't want to make them.
For us, a lot of it is about habits. The offensive output and whatnot is those are the numbers. Everybody can see those, but for us, our main focus with these guys are the habits that they need to incorporate, shift in and shift out. It's cliche, but to have an impact at the NHL level.
Kevin Korchinski played last season in Chicago. Now old enough to meet AHL eligibility, he's logging heavy minutes for the IceHawks.
Kevin's such a great kid. He's a sponge for feedback, wants to do everything that he can to get better. It's a tough situation. He's handled it like a pro. You start your pro career in the NHL and then kind of taking a step back, so to speak, coming to the minors this year. There's very, very few defensemen in the world that can start their careers in the NHL.
Oh, switch it up.
Savvy, you know what you're doing? There's no way he does. Yeah. Hey, nice pass, bro. Way to put it on my stick, eh?
Hey, that was right on your tape, bro.
Bro, that was in my feet.
Artie got caught, and Fitzy was still squeezing, so that's where we got to live and die by the squeeze, right? Once it's initiated. Artie, I mean, you look at his path, being in a different spot each of the last 3 years is something that, I think we overlook as the difficulty of that, especially being from Belarus, the different culture. He has fantastic offensive instincts, many things that you can't teach, so just trying to instill in him, defensive habits and taking care of his own end and letting him do his thing with the puck. And I think you're really starting to see him settle in from an off-ice standpoint, a cultural standpoint, and from a pro hockey standpoint here over the last month plus.
First one of the day, let's go.
How'd that one not connect?
There it is.
For these players, every day is a chance to improve and show the organization why they are a piece of the future. As the NHL season resumes, Kyle is back at the United Center. 2 weeks have passed since his surgery, and his attention is now on the upcoming trade deadline.
I feel great. I think there was a period where I was a little slow and, low energy, but I think that's pretty natural given the type of operation and procedure I went through, but I feel 100%. I feel great.
Did you start having conversations with Seth before your surgery?
It was certainly pre-surgery.
And the big trade, Seth Jones goes to Florida.
I don't know how you don't love this trade. You're only eating $2.5 million for 5 years.
I mean, in essence, you're getting 2 first-round picks.
I'll tip my hat to Kyle Davidson because I don't think that you could have gotten a better offer done.
And you're getting a legit goalie prospect, 23-year-old Spencer Knight, who has won at every level he's ever played at.
There's a buzz in the building and in the locker room as Spencer Knight arrives for his first game as a Blackhawk.
Ready?
Spencer was someone that was around the discussions of what we were talking about, and he became one of the centerpieces. Whether it be the technical aspect, the ability to succeed at every level, he checked every box.
And his talent is undeniable, and certainly the potential to be a top-end goalie. He's a good athlete. He's got explosive lateral movement. Spencer, how was that reaction? Your first home game here with the Chicago Blackhawks. You put on a great show. Way to go.
Hey, that's all. That's a team win right there. That's not just one person. And the boys love coming playing here as an away opponent, but play here as a Blackhawk is 10 times better. Love you guys.
Way to battle at the end. That's an easy one. Nice. Put this on.
Hey, first win is the Chicago Blackhawks.
Hey, we got a great group here. You know what? It doesn't matter if our first place or last. We're going to build winning hockey.
Okay, guys, we'll go around the horn here, and you can talk through your teams and talk through your players. Maybe we'll stick to priority guys that you're really interested in and why, and while keeping in mind that, you know, I think what we're trying to do moving forward is give some opportunity to some of our younger players. It's pretty damn quiet for us, and it sounds like a lot of other teams too. If there's anything that you've heard from scouts asking you guys about certain players, toss that in there when you're about to start a team.
A day before the deadline, Kyle meets with his pro scouting department to go over potential options and scenarios they may face in the next 24 hours.
He's been really a pleasant surprise for them, I would think.
He certainly got a chance to be a third-line guy.
I mean, he's taken major steps.
Major steps.
He's a real player.
Really struggling.
That's strange.
It's almost alarming.
I think they're looking to get a player without giving up much. And so, you know, we're not looking to ship Ryan out for a mid-round pick just to say we moved a guy.
Hey Peter, how's it going, man? So we got the deal over the finish line, so you're gonna go to Detroit.
I have nothing but amazing things to say about Peter, and we were hoping to find him a great spot. I think we're looking to give some young players an opportunity down the stretch because I think it's a great education for them, and it'll give us the best information to create a blueprint and a roadmap for the offseason as we look to next year.
Thanks for watching Every Shift. Be sure to subscribe for more behind the scenes content.